And we are live. Just wanted to come on here for a few. It's been, I guess, 2 or 3 months since the last time I did a stream, and was bored tonight, and figured that since the wife, the baby, and the dogs are all asleep, and I don't have to go back to work for a few days, might as well come on here and just shoot the shit with you guys. I know it's a Sunday evening, and I did not advertise this. I was actually unsure if I was even going to come on and do this until maybe 20 minutes ago. I titled this stream Conjecture because it's going to be sort of just the usual rambling diatribe. Just some thoughts that I've had recently, observations I've made. And basically, anybody in the chat, if you want to throw something at me, feel free, because there's not a lot of form to this stream. I don't even know how long I'm going to stream. I might stream till about midnight, little after, about 45 minutes to an hour. But let's see. How's it going, the barking snail? Yes, sadly, Bo is asleep right now. Him and Loki, we've all been traveling the last few days. Went back home to see the family. So he's in bed right now. He's asleep. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I'm sure he'll make an appearance in the next video that I post. But let's see. To get the stream started, I'm going to read an article that I found yesterday. A really, it's an absurd sort of article. And I posted about it on my Twitter page. And what it is, the article I'm going to read to you is from The Guardian. I only seen the headline of it. Oh, man. And I posted it on Twitter, and there were a lot of people that were like, have you done an early life check? And I'm like, no, I haven't, because I don't really care if she's Jewish or not, because this has to be the most Jewish thing that I've ever heard in my fucking life. I mean, it's pretty absurd. So without any further ado, let me get started. And like I said, I don't expect many people to be here. This stream isn't going to have any form. It's just random thoughts. So the 6 of you that's currently watching, 9 of you, according to the little counter, feel free to chime in. Also, I wanted to stream too because, yeah, I agree. It is one of the most cancerous sites. I don't agree with any of the shit. But this article, I just want to read it to you guys. Twitter can't do Twitter anymore. Someone described their tweets as ex-hosts, and I had a mental. I love you, the barking snail. I love you, dude. You've always got the good comedy. I swear, man, you should start your own channel. Because sadly, there's not a lot of comedy on this side of things these days. Everybody wants to be a fucking tight-ass e-celeb internet pundit. And we need a lot more comedy. We need some laughter. You want to be like a joyful warrior, the sort of archetype of the joyful warrior. Hey, it's good to see you, Didymus. Hope you and the family's doing well. Glad you could make it. But plus I wanted to do this stream because for some fucking reason, StreamYard has decided to charge me $25 for the last couple of months, and I don't understand why. And I looked at some things prior to this stream, and I still don't understand why, because it was back in like August of 2022, I upgraded my plan because I had a couple of guests. I think I had 3 or 4 guests on from about August of 2022 up until about a year later that wanted to do a pre-recorded live stream and I would just premiere it. And I did that as a convenience to them. But after about a year, I was like, fuck this. It's $25 a month, and I'm not. Most people want to just go live, so I've got to sort that out. I guess I'm gonna have to call them because according to my account, there's no. I just have the basic free plan. So why the fuck am I getting charged for something that I ain't using? But anyways, let's get to the article. Y'all don't want to hear about my poor financial situation, of course. Anyways, this title, as I said, is from The Guardian, and let me see if I can find this whore's name. What was her name? Fuck. Kat Bohannon. Kat Bohannon. She is a redheaded woman. And the article is titled, Men and Other Mammals Live Longer If They Are Castrated, says researcher. And I have not read this article yet, so this is fresh to me. I only found it yesterday. Didn't have time to read it. So let's see what this whore has to say. She's redheaded, got her hair curled. She's probably a cat lady, if I had to guess. Middle-aged. Aging millennial. But anyways, Kat Bohannon tells Hay Festival audience it is not known why men go through life smuggling 2 little death nuggets. Bohannon said it had been observed in 20th century America that castrated men lived longer than their regularly bald peers. I don't think I want to be a eunuch. I think I'm good on that. Whether it is the fountain of youth or the elixir of life, men have traveled the world looking for the key to increasing their longevity. They should be looking a bit closer to home, according to one leading researcher, although after they do, they might end up taking the years God intended for them. When it comes to increasing the lifespan of any male mammal, there is one way you can intervene: castration. Kat Bohannon, the celebrated author of Eve, How the Female Body Drove 200 Million Years of Human Evolution, said men went through life smuggling 2 little death nuggets, with research suggesting an orchiectomy can lend a few more precious years. I guess that is the proper medical term for being castrated. Never heard that word, and not interested at all. But let me see if I can continue here. Let me scroll down a bit. Speaking at the Hay Festival on Friday, I wonder what the Hay Festival is. I've never heard of it. Bohannon said castration was a way to make male mammals live longer. This effect was observed in American men in the mid-20th century who were institutionalized, usually because of mental illness, and castrated, and in Korean eunuchs. The castrated men lived longer than their regularly bald peers. You can castrate it. Cut off its balls. Don't try this at home, added Bohannon, a researcher with a PhD from Columbia University in the evolution of narrative and cognition. While it used to be thought that the average lifespan discrepancy was behavioral, dumb boys doing dumb boy stuff, it in fact seems to have something more deeply to do with the immune system and cellular repair, she said. Males get more infections across their lifespan and more cancer, and the prognoses in many cases tend to be a bit worse. A 2012 study published in Current Biology found that the average lifespan of 81 eunuchs born between 1556 and 1861 was 70 years, which was 14.4 to 19.1 years longer than the lifespan of non-castrated men of similar socioeconomic status. Researchers concluded that the study supports the idea that male sex hormones decrease the lifespan of men. So why is this? Why are so many men smuggling two little death nuggets? Bohannon said. I'm afraid we really don't know. A lot of good science is being done in this space. Yes, yes, good fucking science here. Yes. Bohannon said that after discussing killer balls on the Daily Show with Sarah Silverman. Oh boy. Oh fucking boy. She got very intimate questions about men about their testicular situation. I'm now ball chick, it seems, she said. Bohannon also told a Hey audience that someday we're going to have an artificial womb, though it may not be for hundreds of years, and that it would raise ethical questions. Let's be really utopian about this shit. Okay, let's say it's available to everyone. It's not just a rich woman thing. It's not just a white woman thing. Huh. Whatever that means, hundreds of years out, does it then become ever ethical to ask a person with a womb to become pregnant if it can be done outside of a body? What the fuck is this shit about? The technology would take a long time to develop, she said, because it's not simply a bag in which one has a baby. It's an entire female body. Whenever a mammal is pregnant, that entire body is pregnant. There are knock-on effects throughout the system, many of which have long evolved to influence what's going on in that womb. Immunological agents crossing the placental barrier, etc. So that means we have to know a hell of a lot more about female bodies to try and build a fake one. Man. I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but the future is pretty bleak in some regards. Very horrifying. So let's see what the chat says. A few more people's rolled up. Dissident Mind, it's nice to see you. Seen that shit today. Mandrake coming in with the good news. She's confirmed to be a part of the tribe. That does not surprise me. She does have that rather Levantine look in the photograph they have of her in this article. Yep, I would believe it. It's basically, like I said, the most Jewish thing I've ever heard. You know, I refuse to even have my hounds neutered. I'm not lopping their balls off. It's not going to fucking happen. Um, I've always had a sort of admiration. I know this is a little off topic, but they were, I've always had a sort of admiration for the stray tomcat. Your domesticated cat, the stray tomcat, lives outside, kind of lives on the periphery of civilization. You'll see the stray tomcat if you live out in a rural area, or of course, I'm sure they're in urban areas as well. But the stray tomcat sort of lives on the periphery of society. He's kind of feral. And basically, he's only interested in the three F's: fucking, fighting, and feeding. And sometimes he will find whatever food he can, perhaps thrown out food. But the tomcat, he lives on the periphery, and that's what I admire. He is a sort of wild figure in an otherwise civilized world, and I'm not a huge fan of cats as a whole. I don't have any cats right now, and domestic cats, they can be pretty detrimental to the environment to a degree, from what I've read. I'm not a person that hates them, though. I'm not someone that's like despises them. But I've always had a sort of admiration for them. And have you ever seen a person that gets a male cat? When they neuter the male cat is sadly a former shadow of himself. And this does happen to dogs too, because I have seen it happen to a degree. When you take an animal's manhood, it really just changes everything. And that is exactly right, Dissident Mind. we've got our little dog Loki. He is actually a Cheagle. They call him a Cheagle. He's a Chihuahua Beagle mix. And when we got him back in 2019, my wife was debating, she was talking about getting him fixed. And I put my foot down and I'm like, there is no way in hell you're cutting off this puppy. And I talked to her about it and she did some research. And that's good that you brought that up, Distant Mind. I'll put it on the screen there. Odd how dogs who are neutered and spayed have far more lifelong illnesses compared to their non-fixed peers. And she read that, and I was just like, "Hey, listen to it. Look, I appreciate you looking that up, but whatever you believe in, whether it's God, Wotan, the Supreme Being, or hell, just that nature is the divine creator, or hell, even if you're an atheist, what you're given on your body, it's there for a fucking reason, you know." Um, and she consented. She was just like, "Yeah, we're not getting them fixed." When I found Bo back in 2022, we were living in this area, this house that we currently live in. Um, Not getting him fixed either. It's just not going to fucking happen. And I just, I just disagree with it. It's not a good way to live. It's not a good way to be. Um, Anyways, let me see what else the chat has to say. Didymus, he said, let me post it here. It's the same way with Catholic priests in the 19th century. They live a lot longer, no castration needed. Living with women and raising kids just wears you out. Yes, yes, absolutely, Didymus. When you truly live, you wear yourself out. And, after I seen another article, hell, fuck it. Let me see if I can find this article too. I seen this one a few days ago. Someone had posted it on Twitter. Let me search it. I guess I'm just going to read you guys a few articles and just talk about random shit, shoot the shit, because, like I said, I didn't have any sort of defined plan for this stream. I just felt rusty and wanted to knock the rust off. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, here we go. I found it. This is just from 4 days ago. It's the antinatalist shit that the mainstream is pumping out is really seems like they're really putting it out there. This is, like I said, just 4 days ago. This is an article, I believe, from the New York Post. It is by Alexandra Klausner. It's either a German name or a Jewish name, one of the two. So, fatherhood might be bad for your heart. Study. Kids may pull on your heartstrings in more ways than one. Fathers have worse cardiovascular health than men without kids, according to a new study. Oh man, these new studies, dude. Fucking new studies. I fucking love science. Science. All right, researchers from Northwestern University and Ann and Robert H. Lurie Children's Hospital of Chicago analyzed data from 2,814 men between ages 45 and 85 and found that health outcomes varied considerably by ethnicity and how old the man was when his first kid was born. For example, men who became fathers under age 25 seemed to have worse heart health than other fathers. This was especially true among men who were Hispanic or black. Of course. Hey, that's a positive sign for us Wignats. That's a positive. We're white. Maybe we don't have as high of a chance. Anyways, The study, published in AJPM Focus earlier this month, used data from the multi-ethnic study of, I don't even know how to fucking pronounce this, atherosclerosis. The men were grouped as being fathers or non-fathers and self-identified as black, Chinese, Hispanic, or white. Fathers made up 82% of the group. As I said, I've not read this article either, so this is my first time. They got a couple of pictures here. A ginger guy with two blonde-headed daughters, and a father laying on a couch with his probably 4 or 5-year-old son tugging on his shirt, and he's laying there with a look of distress with his hand over his eyes like he's just got a headache. Researchers said that being a dad stretches a man's time. Well, of course it fucking does. And he may lead a less healthy lifestyle as a result. Yeah, that's... When you're working in America, we're cursed with this goddamn Protestant work ethic. So, yeah, you're worked to death. I can kind of see that. Being a dad can negatively impact lifestyle and heart health. The researchers looked at a number of health markers, including diet, exercise, and smoking habits, weight, blood pressure, and glucose levels. The study authors hypothesized that the stresses that come with parenthood make it harder for men to maintain a healthy lifestyle through either dieting or exercise because having kids strains their time. The changes in heart health we found suggest that the added responsibility of childcare and the stress of transitioning to fatherhood may make it difficult for men to maintain a healthy lifestyle, such as a healthy diet and exercise. Study author Dr. James Parker, an assistant professor of pediatrics at Northwestern's Feinberg School of Medicine, said in a press release. We really need to study fathers as a unique population and track men's health outcomes as they become fathers. Cardiovascular health is especially important since the health behaviors and factors are all modifiable. Young fathers had the worst health. Men who had their first children when they were younger than 25 had the worst health outcomes as well as higher death rates, the study found. If you're under 25, you may be less financially stable, your brain may be less mature, and especially for racial and ethnic minorities, you may have lower paying jobs with fewer benefits and limited leave policies. Yep. Victimhood for our racial adversaries. Parker said in the press release, what about Indians? Those Pajeets that come over here. They usually have well-paying jobs, probably in college, all that. Everybody gets a break but Whitey, but yeah, you know this, of course. All of this can make it harder to focus on your health. There are a lot of public health interventions for young mothers, but no one has ever really looked at young fathers in this way. Fathers might live longer. This is interesting. While the fathers in the study had worse cardiovascular health overall, they were the least likely to die from any cause in the group. Researchers found that this may be because fathers have more social support than non-fathers. Fathers may also be more likely to have someone as their future caretaker, i.e. their children, to help them attend medical appointments and manage medications and treatments as they get older, Parker said. We also found that fathers had lower rates of depressive symptoms than non-fathers. So mental health may be contributing to the lower death rates in fathers. Researchers noted that previous studies on fatherhood may not have included racially and ethnically diverse populations. For black fathers in the study, the rate of death was lower than for black non-fathers, and this was the only racial group for which this was true. Fatherhood may be protective for black men, Parker said. Maybe becoming a father promotes a healthy lifestyle for black men. Studying this association further could have important public health implications. Let me scroll down a bit. Let me get a sip of water. Let me just see what this chat's saying. Let me see what you fellas got going on. Let's see. What's up, Russian Thoughtbot? I know some lorries. Oh my heckin' Fauci. Black fathers, yes, I thought. Well, if a black man has a child and he takes an interest in that child and tries to have a family, then I could see him probably not wanting to be out doing what they normally do. Um, so yeah, I could imagine them maybe not having as short of a lifespan. But yeah, I kind of thought that was ironic as well. Studies done on just a few thousand people is not that reliable. It's just the kind of numbers that can be twisted to fit an agenda. Yeah, I can agree with that, Finn Wraith. They're cocksuckers, the ones I went to school with. Being responsible for others may induce anxiety. Oh, my Fauci. Yes, that is true. That is true. Russian Thoughtbot said they have something to live for. Hey, what's up? Why are you gay? It's good to see you. Good to see you. But nowadays, young fatherhood can often be a result of all these teenagers and young adults being promiscuous and one night hookups, so people may not be prepared to become fathers at a younger age. Uh, until I was about 27. I'm not going to go as far as to say I was a fucking, anti-natalist, but I was very, very afraid of having children because, I mean, I was just a red-blooded young male uh, that you're always educated, um, especially millennials, I would imagine. Like, I don't know how often I heard it, taught that, like, say, especially a young girl or a young man, say they're in high school, uh, say the girl becomes pregnant, your life's fucking over. Your life is fucking over if you get knocked up in high school. That's, which, yeah, I don't think that's ideal by any means, but I will say this: I do wish I would have had children when I was younger, because I mean, my first child came when I was 36. So I will be what 54 when she graduates high school, or becomes an adult. That's pretty fucking old, you know, pretty fucking old. And I mean, any other child I have, it'll be later. So, anyways, back to the article. Father's health impacts their families. The researchers noted that a father's health had a major impact on the well being of his family. A lot of times we focus on the health of mothers and children, and we don't even think of their fathers. But their health has a major influence on their family. Well, this is pretty fucking obvious. Parker pointed to previous research that found higher obesity rates among partners if their spouse was also obese. To improve the health of families, we need to consider the multidirectional relationship among mothers, fathers, other caregivers, and children, Parker said. Study also found that fathers have a higher smoking rate than non-fathers, which was different compared to previous research that found fathers tended to quit smoking. This study looked at older fathers, so it's possible men might quit smoking when they become fathers, but then later maybe they become more stressed and take up the habit again, Parker said. Either way, we should look at what's happening with smoking rates because smoking is a leading cause of preventative death. And if a father is smoking, it will influence their families as well. And I believe that is the end. Overall, I just see that as um, largely more antinatalist stuff. in a subtle sort of way. I will say this: at least that article wasn't as quite as absurd as the first article I read about becoming a eunuch to live a longer life. You know, I'd seen that article posted on Twitter by one of my friends on there, and I commented. I was like, you know, I think I'd rather drop dead at the fucking age of 50 from a massive heart attack and have a brood full of hellions than to live to be 95 and childless, you know. And I mean that. I mean, I'd rather not die at 50 or 45 or whatever. You know, I'm kind of just being, kind of just exaggerating there, but the point still stands. You know, I would rather have children. You know, antinatalism is, let's see what Didymus has to say here. Or I'll start out with why are you gay? Let's see what she has to say. I had no desire for kids and didn't particularly want any up until about 24 or 25, even with being married and life sorted out. Yeah, you know, I was I was the firstborn. I'm the first of two sons, and my mother got pregnant with me when she was 17. My dad knocked her up, and they married after that happened. And you know, I uh, I was almost a 10 pound baby. I was extremely healthy. I weighed 9 pounds and 10 ounces, and my great grandfather, my mother's grandfather, he had a very important role in my mother's life. Him and his wife, because my mother, she grew up in a pretty hectic home situation. I love my grandparents, but they were kind of hell raisers. Uh, my mother and her sister, they had to deal with a lot of things as children that kids probably shouldn't have to deal with. A lot of domestic disputes. My grandmother, she was a pretty wild woman, and my grandfather, he made moonshine and grew marijuana and things like that. And I've had my dad tell me before that if it wasn't for my great grandparents, uh, my mother's grandmother and grandfather living just down the holler from them, there's a chance they may not have lived to see adulthood. It was pretty wild. But you know, um, it worked out though. You know, plus, me and my younger brother, he weighed, I believe, almost 9 pounds, 8 pounds and something. So, you know, you don't want to have them too young, but I think that honestly, and I will say this, it's my opinion too that men also have a shelf life. I'm my time, I would say, I don't want to have a kid past 41 or 42. My wife's several years younger than me. Um, So she's still got some time, but I wouldn't want her to have any after 35. And it was a personal goal of mine to have a child before she turned 30, you know, because I have read before that if a woman has not gotten pregnant by the time she's 30 and she tries afterwards, it can be a very difficult process. But anyways, like I said, guys, forgive me. I'm just rambling, talking about what comes to mind. Um, Didymus here. Yeah, they ran this big antinatalist push under the banner of stopping teen pregnancy. Yes, yes, yes. She said, "Dang, you old fart." Yeah, I ain't. I'm in my mid 30s now. I'll be 40 here in a few years, and it's mm. I'll say this: physically, I'm damn good health. I don't feel 40 physically in the least. Um, Hell, I'll just say this: I had to go get a physical the other day, Department of Transportation physical for my job, You have to get one here in Tennessee every 2 years. And I went into the physical office, and hell, I was actually kind of shocked. Um, Seems like I'm a bit healthier than I was 2 years ago, which I find that remarkable because I will admit I smoke cigarettes. I have cut back over the last few months. Um, I wanted to quit for the birth of my child, but I failed. I'll admit it. I fucking didn't quit smoking. I quit smoking for about a month after she was born. But being that job that I have, you're on the road, out on the road, 10, 12 hours a day, 10, 11 hours a day usually. It's kind of hard not to smoke. And that's my own fault. Yeah, I need to fucking quit, but I can't help it. There's something about tobacco. There's something about nicotine. I like it. But my blood pressure was very good. It was 110 over 72. I do work out a lot. Um, I eat quite healthy, drink a lot of raw milk. I weighed 183, 183 pounds, and I'm 5'9". What struck me as odd was my eyesight had actually improved. I've never worn glasses. Uh, Last time I had a physical, my eyesight in both eyes was 2020. This time around, in my right eye, I had 2010. In my left eye, I had 2015. I was like, what the hell? Maybe it's where I've been juicing a lot. I have to thank my friend Martin for this. He encouraged me several months ago to get a juicer, start making my own juices. I use a lot of beets, a lot of carrots, a lot of fruits, mix a lot of things. And I thought that was odd. I've never had to wear glasses. Hey, what can I say? We all know about Pol Pot and his murder of the intellectuals. I want to be Pol Pot's top guy, baby. Never have to wear eyeglasses. I'm just joking. That was a feeble attempt at some comedy. Um, let's see. What do we have here? What do we have in the chat? Hoaxed everyone with the grid's AIDS hysteria. Well, I'm curious, Didymus. Do you believe that stuff is real? I've heard some people say that AIDS isn't real. I will say this: I don't believe I've known in my personal life anyone that's had AIDS. Um, let's see. Howdy, so hey, what's going up? What's going on, Ulfric? It's good to see you, my man. Finwraith, I think having children at a younger age can be good if one is actually capable of raising a child at a younger age. Well, see, that's maturity is a big part of it, you know. Ulfric Durinson says many of us age better than others, depending on how we treat it with exercise, etc. Yes, yes. Telling people not to have children now leads to smart, capable people not having them or having them later, and the irresponsible people not capable having them often at a younger age. Yeah, there's cases of that. Up until recently, we were expected to have kids before the age of 20. Women in the Middle Ages who didn't have a family after the age of 20 were considered failures or spinsters. I could see that. Only thing my doctor told me was that apparently I have to eat more steak. Made me a happy camper. Well, hell yeah. Eat you some more steak, brother. Hey, what's going on, Beatty? Beatty? Man, I don't know how to pronounce that. I'll just call you Bowman. Yeah, I'm up late, man. Just wanted to do a stream, knock the rust off. Love Pol Pot. Hey, I find figures like Pol Pot to be interesting. Um, lately, I've been reading. Lately, I've been trying to read a lot about the old anarchists like Perdon, Bakunin. I find a lot of the stuff that Bakunin had to say. Hell, Didymus here. He done a very good sort of video essay about Mikhail Bakunin talking about Marx. They had a relationship, but Bakunin was pretty anti-Semitic, and he had a sort of rivalry with Marx. And I really like what Bakunin. I like these early anarchists, and I have grown to. I've really gotten into over the last couple 2 to 3 years the idea of national anarchism. Um, I have recently been reading or rereading, I should say, the National Anarchist Manifesto by Troy Southgate. I had read it 3 years ago, but I wanted to pick it up again because here in the near future, I'm going to have Keith Preston come on the stream. I managed to get in contact with him a couple of weeks ago. So here in about 2 to 3 weeks, I'll have Keith Preston on here, and we're going to talk about anarchism as a whole because I believe it's misunderstood on the racialist side of things to a degree. I'll say this, and I'm taking my opinion from Pat here. And in fact, let me just read something that corresponds to, if I can find it right quick. I don't know if NS or I don't know if National Socialism will ever take off in America. I truly don't. Maybe, but at times I wonder if it will because, that was a unique expression of the German people at a time when they were in dire need of something new. And I don't know if we have that here in America. Let me see if I can find this for you. I'll have to go back on Telegram and look. But it's on. Let me see if I find it. I think it was from a few days ago. Give me just. God damn it! I don't want to scroll back that far. Fuck. Let me see if I can find it in a chat. As y'all can tell, I was not prepared for this at all. It's kind of just I just want to talk about whatever. Let me see if I can search it. All right, here we go. I've managed to find it. Let's see. I'll read what the chat here has to say. Bakunin, Aryan Chad. Yes. Bakunin. Interesting guy. Very interesting. Thoughtbot said, I binged on Khmer Rouge shit recently for about a month. Yeah, it's interesting. Hey, what's up, Mr. Dillingsworth? It's good to see you, bro. Hell yeah, man. Keith Preston I've been a fan for a few years before I was a white nationalist, sympathetic. Well, anarchism as a whole is a pretty broad thing. Yes, it is. It is a very broad concept. Bede says, every day I come closer to be a fascist. Yeah, we have a lot of patriotism, not a lot of nationalism. Well, anymore, I would even consider myself, I'm not even so much of a nationalist because I'll be honest, I kind of hate America. Or at least the federal government. I view the federal government as the ultimate evil, as I've said many times. It is the ultimate evil. And capitalism is the great miscegenator. There is no movement, just your family and extended family. I agree. I think in order for America to become fascist, you'd have to lean into the Americana worship that dominated early America. And frankly, I don't think America has that capacity anymore. It's a pretty good observation. Can't disagree with it. I'd say I agree with it. Certainly plausible that a period of anarchy might occur before anything NS adjacent could take hold in the context of a Kali Yuga tier decline. Let's see. Bede Bowman says, or Didymus says, yeah, that is a problem with all those guys around Cultured Thug a few years ago. All right, Culture Thug's got some pretty interesting ideas. I would definitely recommend CT's. He did a series on uh, Huey P. Long several years ago, I believe. Very informative, and I think I do have an admiration for Huey P. Long. I really do. But anyways, this is a post from Blair Cottrell, that a Australian guy, and Pat has said this before numerous times. Um, the reason nobody will recreate National Socialism anytime soon is because the NSDAP was built from the ground up by a decorated war veteran and thousands of high stock, stoic German soldiers frustrated and forced into political action by Germany's terrible conditions following her defeat in the First World War. A few modern middle class idealists and a mob of mostly autistic, dopamine fried kids who've never used a shovel might say they are National Socialists, and they may truly think that they are. But their physical and mental condition, as well as their general lifestyle, says that to me they are full of shit. I've only met a few men who I would consider actual National Socialists. Not because they said that's what they are, but because of their condition, their lifestyle choices, their hardworking nature, and their honor. These are the men who could build a real movement, but they are too few in number, especially when they are overshadowed by clusters of weak adolescent LARPers with hands softer than a woman's. Personally, I don't even feel like I have the right to call myself a National Socialist. I work hard and am in good condition. However, I don't live morally enough yet. But plenty of boys, far fatter, weaker, and of significantly less use than I am, still have the audacity to say I'm a National Socialist. They think they can drag the term and the philosophy behind it down to their level rather than raising themselves up to meet it. The conditions for revolution are good and getting better, but unfortunately, not enough men are in the right condition to make any use of these times. So, let me pull out of that. Yeah, can't say I disagree with him. Um, if you would have asked me maybe 5 years ago, I probably would have said that I was NS. Nowadays, I'm not so sure about that. While I do have an admiration for those men, you know, I don't know if you could recreate that here in America. I truly don't. The German people were a different people. And it's really hard for me. It's probably like 2 or 3 months ago. I was at work one day early in the morning. I was loading up my truck, and I hear my coworker next to me start talking about anarcho-capitalism. And this guy's just a normal guy. He's from a very rural part of Georgia, and me and him, we've became friends over the past couple of years. But I was absolutely shocked to hear this guy talk about anarcho-capitalism, and me and him were talking about that. And he was like, "Well, what do you consider yourself?" And I was kind of just joking. I was like, "Brother, I'm a racist communist," you know. And he got a real laugh out of that, and I was laughing. I don't really confine myself to see any sort of ideological label per se. People on this side of things, they like to try to put people in their little labels and their little boxes. I will say this: I think the idea of national anarchism, while I don't agree with everything that Southgate said in the National Anarchist Manifesto, I will say it does align with a lot of my beliefs. Not all of it, but a lot of it. And another reason I don't really consider myself NS is because I see so many retards online that claim it, just like Mr. Cottrell had said. Um, I even see whores on Twitter. They're like, "Oh, I'm pro YNS," and I'm like, "What the fuck is this bitch going on about?" She probably hasn't ever even read Mein Kampf. You know, probably doesn't know who Alfred Rosenberg is. It's and it's not even just that. It's the main fact that if you look into Operation Gladio, and we've all talked about Gladio over and over. I could talk about Gladio until I'm fucking blue in the face. I don't really care. But it's undeniable that the so called fascists over in, say, Italy, Belgium, other countries, the Netherlands, they were largely co-opted to do like the CIA's bidding, using terroristic motives. And it's often hard to find. It's hard to determine what was genuine political violence and what was perhaps coerced. Um, I think the term Civil War, it's been really hot on people's minds. Hell, I guess there was a movie made here recently that was about the Civil War. Hell, it may have been titled Civil War. I haven't been to a movie theater to watch a movie since, I don't believe, 2016. I have not seen the movie, and honestly, I'm not really interested in seeing it. I don't know if we'll have a civil war, but I could see the situation in America becoming somewhat reminiscent of the years of lead in Italy. Let me get a drink of water. Let me see. Let me see what you guys have to say. Warwolf, what's up, man? Yeah, everything's absolutely great on my end. Went back up in the holler for the weekend, seen the family. My father got to meet my daughter for the first time. Got to see all my family. It was great. I just wish I could have stayed up there longer. Only got to go up there for about 3 days. Claim your turf, marry your cousins, worship the gods, protect kids within the network with like minds. This is all, frankly, that's needed at the moment. We are such a master race that just this will return us to glory. It's interesting you bring up marry your cousins. Just make sure that they are your third cousin or farther away related. Fourth cousin, fifth cousin. I have read before. There was an article I read a while back that said the third cousin was the quote unquote Goldilocks zone of reproduction, where your genetic material is it's far enough. I think, what is it? Let me see. Isn't it if you say two first cousins have sex and the woman gets pregnant? What is it? Is it like a 1/4 chance that the baby will come out with some horrible defects? 25% chance. I could be wrong about that, but that's a pretty high. That's much too high. But maybe third cousins and on down. Lewis Beam said, "There's no reason to worry about muds dominating whites. Cream will rise to the top no matter what." I'm glad you brought up Lewis Beam. We're going to do a stream about him, part 2 here soon. I'll come back to Lewis Beam also in a second. Solar Christ. Hey, how you doing, man? It's good to see you. There's no point in subscribing to a single political system in the Kali Yuga. Political systems come and go in cycles, the same as everything else. These grandiose master plans and fretting over things is pointless and useless. We need to go back down to earth and build our foundation. I agree also. Yes, sir, Mr. Bowman. Would probably be decades before that could happen. Anyways, movie was actually halfway decent. Wasn't what I expected, but it was interesting. Oh, you're talking about Civil War. Oh, frick. Nigga, you the only one that talks about Gladio, and I fucking love it. That shit's important. Pat talks about it too, man. Pat and Didymus are who taught me about it and encouraged me to look into it further years back. And I will say this, my opinion of Gladio has changed over time. It has changed to a degree. It is third cousins. Yeah, second cousin is still super dangerous. Don't want dysgenic monstrosities running around. Yeah, I would agree. Definitely. Good luck planting roses in the Kali Yuga. Yes, yes, yes. First movie I saw since The Northman. I still have not seen The Northman, and I have not seen uh, Midsummer. I need to watch both of those. Need to watch them. Hell, here lately, as of late, I got into watching a show called Big Love. It was a show that HBO produced back in starting in 2006. He says it's anti-white garbage. I have heard it's anti-white garbage, but I've also had some friends tell me that there's something to it. Like their interpretation of it is different. So I'd still like to watch it. I really don't care if something's considered anti-white because I mean, hell, any sort of media that you consume today probably has some sort of kernel of subversive sort of programming in it. Uh, I still would like to watch it, form my own opinion about it. But anyways, I was talking about that show Big Love. It stars Bill Paxton, and it's a show about a Mormon family, and they are polygamists. He has 3 wives. You know, I've seen this debate before in these white nationalist circles whether polygamy or monogamy is the way to go. Mormons, I believe the Church of Latter-day Saints in 1890, they outlawed polygamy, but there are still polygamist sects, I believe. And even some white nationalist figures, such as, a couple of members of the Bruder Schweigen that I can think of off the top of my head. Bob Matthews, he was married, but he uh, he had a child with a girl named Zilla Craig. It was Jean. Um, Also Randy Evans, I believe he was another member of the Bruder Schweigen that was into polygamy. He had kids with one wife and was I think he took a second wife. But you know, I don't. I do see that debate come up sometimes about polygamy. Personally, myself, I'm against polygamy. I always have been to a degree. I mean, really, I don't know. Maybe some people can make it work. But man, I know this is just a work of fiction, but this show, Big Love, shows just how fucking stressful the whole situation is. I'm only I'm a little over halfway through the first season of Big Love, and this guy I believe has 8 children. He has 3 wives, and holy fuck, you know they're trying to lead a suburban existence in Utah. They're also trying to hide the fact that they're polygamists. Um, but they're not at the compound. Their compound is called the Juniper Creek Compound. That's their polygamous sect, and it's a fascinating show, I will say. But goddamn, I mean, I hate to say, I hate to mimic what the blacks say, but they have that saying, "More money, more problems." Well, I'm of the opinion, more women, more problems. I don't, uh, I don't think I could do polygamy. More women, more problems, and you're always naturally going to favor one wife over the other, and your children, you're going to have your favorites. I believe Bill, the main character in this show, I believe he has it's 7 or 8 children. He has 7 or 8 children between the ages of, say, I think his oldest son, or maybe his oldest daughter, is 17. He's got a son that's a sophomore in this season. So let's see. Let's see what the chat was saying. Yeah, I don't. I couldn't do polygamy. I could not do it at all. Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. You have a wonder counterpoint, though. Most see it as a sexual fantasy without realizing how hard it is caring for multiple wives and kids. Many Mormon men actually want it less than their wives do. Yeah, I could see that. KRKR says Mr. Lane doesn't frown on it, but couldn't afford it. Polygamy is a ticking time bomb. Imagine having 8 wives mad at you. Yeah, fuck all that shit. Having an attitude, man, you're dead. Yeah. Why are you gay? Personally, I'm possessive and jealous. So, yeah, I agree with that too, man. Or, yeah, I agree with that completely. Bede says polygamy encourages miscegenation. Does it? I mean, possibly. All the rich men take all the white women, so the poor men go outside the tribe to breed. Hey, yes, yes, yes. Very good point. Very good point. Therefore, monogamy is the way to go. He says, let's see. Thoughtbot says, I wonder if Bill was vaxxed or if he just did a lots of coke for decades. Who are you talking about here? Who are you talking about? He was probably one of my favorite actors, Bill. I'm trying to think of an actor named Bill. It's slipping me at the moment. But yeah, I don't think polygamy is. I don't think it's a viable course myself. It wouldn't be for me in the least. Bill Paxton. Did Bill Paxton die? Fuck, let me see. Let me look that up. Bill Paxton. Fuck, he is dead. He is dead. God damn, he died back in 2017? God damn, where the fuck have I been? Holy shit. I did not fucking know that. He had a stroke. He had a stroke. Fuck. Learn something new every day. Learn something new every day. Let's see, Bill Paxton. Yeah, I appreciate you telling me that. I did not know. I did not know. Ulfric says also dysgenic after a certain point too. It's why Muslims got so fucked up genetically. Everyone becomes too related. At most, I think 3 wives would be the best to keep that down. I don't. I think it's just one. Hey, what's up, Husifer? Hey, Husifer, how are you, dude? Hey, I got a new phone, man. I'm gonna have to holler at you. I'm gonna have to give you my new phone number. It's good to see you on here, dude. Figured I'd do just like a late night stream shooting the shit. Let me see. I think I've got you. Husifer. I'll shoot you a message here in a few. Hope everything's going good, brother. Okay, yeah, I'll holler at you on there. I'll holler at you on there. Sounds good. Oh, all of my kids are randomly awake. Oh man, that's tough. But yeah, we were talking about Gladio a few minutes ago. I currently see what's going on with Gladio, going on with the whole Ukraine Russia ordeal. Um, I'll say this whole side of things is it's become a whole lot less fun since the whole Russia Ukraine conflict started. It's not as fun as it used to be. I have lost contact with people, and I'm not going to say I've lost friends or anything, but I think that I do think that the whole Russia Ukraine conflict has shown just how easily divided racialists are. I think it has really shown that. Um, I know there's some people that I used to hang out with and speak to ever so often uh, that are very pro Ukrainian right now. And I know a few minutes ago, I believe Thoughtbot had mentioned Lewis Beam. I think it was in March of 2022. I made a video calling called Tepid Take or something like that, where I talked about the whole Russia Ukrainian conflict. And I will say, I think I still have the same opinion to a degree. I don't really like either side. But I will say this: Lewis Beam kind of changed my opinion on Russia. After it was about a year and a half ago, I read an article that was written by Lewis Beam, and he took a trip to Russia. And here in the future, when I do that Lewis Beam stream with Pat, probably going to take some stuff and read some stuff about his article. See, he took a trip to Russia back in 2014, 2015, and it was a sort of humanitarian aid trip. And he started out in Russia, traveled across Russia, and he said it was an eye-opening experience for him, even though he was raised thinking that the Soviets and the communists were the great enemy. He said it's a very fascinating article. I'm going to read about it in the future. I'm not going to say that like I'm pro Russia by any means, because I don't think, I mean, Putin does not like caveman nationalism, as he's quoted as saying. And he talks a lot about denazifying Ukraine, but I also have to question the intent of these so called Nazis and say Azov and all these other groups. Um, I believe they're propped up by the CIA. And, I see a lot of these people, they're like, oh, you're a zigger and you're just gobbling Russian propaganda, this and that, which I will not deny in the least. There is Russia, a lot of Russian propaganda out there. They have a very vested interest in influencing these circles, certainly. But then I have to ask about the Ukrainian people that are pushing their, especially Americans especially Americans that I see shilling for Ukraine. I just have to ask, you're talking about Russian propaganda here, but how do you know you don't have the CIA's cock in your mouth? I mean, really, you know, I don't like either side still, but I definitely don't like Ukraine. The only person that's pro Ukrainian that I have been willing to entertain is Nordlux. I like Nordlux quite a bit. Plus, he's over there in Eastern Europe. He does have a vested concern. But me, I'm just over here in Appalachia. And I feel sympathy, of course, for the common white Ukrainian, and the common white Russian. So, yeah, that's very true, Finn Wraith. That's very true. I have seen some Russians also try to play into the anti-white ideas like these Western countries are the racists, while we're allying with all these African countries. Bede Bowman says if Azov were actual Nazis, they wouldn't be fighting for a Jew. That is, it goes back to what Pat said in a stream. I believe it was back in March of 2022. He asked the most genuine question. And I have to give him a lot of credit for that. He asked, you know, if Azov is truly National Socialist, why in the fuck have they not dealt with Julinsky yet? Why are they allowing a fucking Jew to run their country? And, back then, as Pat pointed out back then, he said that it's strategic, bro. That's what they were saying. It's strategic. That is why Azov is taking money and support. Well, it's really hard to fucking tell, too, what the current situation. I imagine that it's probably easy to fix wartime propaganda. And there's a lot of misinformation out there, It's been 2 fucking years. And I hear about all these great Ukrainian nationalists. Well, why are you allowing this fucking Jew to send your countrymen into the meat grinder over and fucking over? I mean, I just smell Gladio all over it. I can't help it. I can't help it. But I don't really give a fuck all that much about each side, to be honest. I'm more concerned with what's in my own backyard. And I'm not falling for CIA propaganda, government propaganda. And I mean, in fact, I wish they'd hurry up and fucking end that shit over there. I'm tired of fucking hearing about it. I'm tired of hearing each side bicker with each other. It's really fucking boring and it's pointless, you know? And then there's the whole Israel Palestine thing. 2024 is going to be an interesting year. It's an election year. Very interesting. We all know about Trump. Hey, what's up, folk survival? What's up? How you doing? I will say this, I still stand by my point that I've made in previous videos over the last, say, 8-9 months. Watch what you say online. They're fucking watch your mouth online. Don't say nothing too outrageous because you could get a knock on the door. It's one of the things that Biden wants, They want to push that narrative that racialists or white nationalists are the biggest threat to this country. They're looking for any reason, so just be careful about that, Just be careful what you say online and be careful who your friends are. Husifer said, went ahead and sent you a message. All right, I'll message you back as soon as I get off this stream. I'm going to shut it down here shortly. I'm kind of just rambling now. Endogamous is the way to go. It protects the racial stock. If all people are only breeding with their kin and all the kin starts out white, then it becomes resistant to race mixing. The biggest threat to our country is white apathy. Yeah, it's that, and it's also the white elites, and it's the Jews, and it's the very U.S. government. Really, that's who aids and abets all this stuff. Treebeard nationalism for me on that conflict. Neither side's superpower explicitly supports my people, so I see no point in putting my energy into or behind either. I agree. Let's see. You know, I kind of like doing streams like this, just rambling. I like to see what it's got to say. Well, let me ask you guys this before I shut it down. I'll keep it running for maybe 5, 10 more minutes. What do y'all think is going to happen with the whole election? We all know about Trump being convicted. I think he gets sentenced on July the 11th. I think he's probably going to win the election if they let him get that far. Now, I have heard some people to say that he might be, disappeared. Myself, I don't know. I've gotten the feeling sometimes that the system has made peace with Trump. You know, this could be something to ensure that he gets elected. And say the sentencing or whatever, Trump does not end up going to prison. Maybe that's a ploy to restore a bit of confidence in the system. Which basically, I guess the big question is the powers that be, are they willing to further erode the legitimacy of the system? That's the big question. And if, for whatever reason, Trump does not get into office, it will severely erode the legitimacy of the system. The legitimacy of the system. It took a big hit in 2020, with the whole election back then. What do y'all think's going to happen? Finn Wraith brings up a very good point. Let's see. People always talk about secret societies secretly controlling everything, but I wonder if changing society might require the creation of a secret society. Well, man, that's what I'm interested in. That's what I'm interested in, is creating a secret society, to be honest. That's what I'm really interested in. Not like a huge nationwide thing, but more of a regional thing. Yes. In our eyes, it lost all legitimacy. I agree. Definitely, Lucifer. Ulfric says, I think Trump actually wins because he's the only one who can get white people to sign up to the military again en masse. That's a good point. That's a good point. Reason being, powers that be want war, and we are in no shape to do so without him. That's an interesting point. Me and Pat was talking about this a couple of weeks ago. White people might actually sort of get a bone thrown to them if Trump wins, a perceived bone. But of course, it's going to be a catch. I don't know, though. I don't know if Trump gets us in a war, to be honest. I kind of think that Trump just dislikes war. Now, I could be proven wrong. Definitely. That is always possible. We all know that he loves Israel. But I don't know. Yeah, that's pop-off valve. Exactly. What's up, Hugo? It's good to see you. What concerns me more, I mean, we very well, I'm not making a prediction here. I'm just questioning if there will be a hot war while Trump is in office. What concerns me more is after Trump. You get someone like fucking DeSantis, or God forbid Haley, or someone like that, you get someone like that in office. Fuck yeah, there's going to be, we'll be in a war in the Middle East, which Trump is an actor. I can agree. Um, I was just curious what you guys thought about it. I will say this: as the summer has approached, I don't know if we'll have any chimp outs like we did back in 2020. I think they're playing a different game this year. But I could be proven wrong, you know. Could be proven incorrect. That's why I don't like making predictions so much. Democracy is an illusion. We're having an EU election right now. And a while back, parties that were promoting the wrong ideas were banned from running. If someone is really a threat, they will ban them. Yeah, democracy's a crock of shit. We need a king, restore the Blotswain. Um, yeah, democracy's a crock of shit, man. This form of government that America has is a crock of shit. Oh, I thought up another question and a sort of another sort of subject that I was going to interject, but I think I'll save that for a future stream. I think I'll save that. I don't want to go down that route right now. Plus, I'm about starved to death. Um, anyways, guys, I think I'm going to shut it down. I want to thank y'all for stopping by. I just wanted to do a sort of low key, unannounced stream just to see what's going on. But anyways, guys, y'all have a good night. I want to thank everybody that stopped here. It was good to see you guys, and we will. I'll try to do another one of these here in the future, maybe in the next week or two. I'm going to interview Keith Preston here soon, here in probably about 2 to 3 weeks. So I've kind of got to study for that. And yeah, it's good to see you, especially you, Hucifer, Ulfric, Beatty. Why are you gay? It's always good to have you around. Hugo, you've been around a long time. Didymus, it's good to hear from him, and Thoughtbot and Solar Christ. Everybody that stopped by. Finn Wraith, you've been around for years, man. You've been around since the very old days. Like right when I got started. Like 2019 is what we're talking about. So I appreciate you hanging out all these years. The Barking Snail, I'm sorry I didn't have Bo around. Mandrake, it's always good. Dissident Mind, let me see anybody else. KRKR, nice to see you. I've seen you around before. But anyways, I'm going to go eat something, drink some raw milk, and hang out for a bit. Might watch an episode of Big Love, LOL. Listen to me say LOL. I just meant to laugh there. It's a little late. I hope y'all have a good evening. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.